All right, it looks like we've got some viewers, so I'm going to give it just a couple more minutes. That way, anybody who's trying to get on or find it, sometimes they have trouble finding it in the event section. And then we'll get started. Yep, go ahead and leave a comment. Hello, hello. And if we have any new viewers who haven't been on one of my lives yet, you can see I have two cameras set up. My computer is the one I'm sitting at right now, so I can see what's going on and anything in the comment section. But when I'm working over on my other camera setup, I can't see. So I come back and I check it to see if there's questions, and I kind of scroll through it. All right. Well, I'm going to get started. So I'm going to move over to the other screen. Go ahead and say hello in the comment section, and I will check back on that in a minute. Before I do that, actually, I want to make this camera a little smaller so there's more of my workspace showing. There we go. All right. We're going to get started. So tonight we are making these addictively adorable candy stuffers. And you may be wondering, how are they candy stuffers? You can't really tell from the front. It's the back. That's where the magic is. I have some candy. And how these work is you flip it down, and it reveals a little pouch. And then you can flip it back up. And the ears actually are a benefit. Like, this is a lollipop, and you can put the stick up in the ears. And what's nice is they're reusable. Let's try. We got some chocolate. Fold that in half. Stick it right down in there. Fits a little mini size chocolate. And because you have to flip it down to get them open, that candy's not gonna fall out. So, but tonight's magic is not so much in making the bunnies, which I'm going to share that with you shortly. It's about adding all the sparkles and the shine. I just love it. So tonight I'll be demonstrating 5 different ways to add flair to your bunnies. And I will go over each of those individually shortly. But we first need to make some bunnies to do that on. So what you're going to need, you can find all the supplies on ThermOWeb's blog. I have the link in the description, and there is a printout, and you'll want to cut it out. Here it is cut out. We're going to make 2 tonight, so I'm going to do this twice. You need for this I chose, it's 4.5 by 7, so 4.5 by 7. Your width doesn't really matter. So you can actually see this is a little wider than 4.5 because these are scraps I had that were 5 inches, so it's a little wider. The most important information here is the length. Width, as long as you can fit your template on it, the width doesn't matter, it's the length. So your 7-inch one is going to actually be the front of your bunny. And I'm using batik, so there really is no front or back. If you were using a printed fabric like this, you want your good print side, so the right side facing towards you. You want your wrong side facing away. So you lay down your 7-inch, and then you have two 4.5-inch by 8-inch. These you would fold in half and press. You fold the other one in half. And then you're going to take the raw edge and line it up with the raw edge. Now you'll want to, so that you can open the bunny the correct way, you want to do the top first. So go with your top edge, and then this is my folded edge. I'm going to put the raw edge to the raw edge, and then the bottom second. All right, I'm looking for my pins. Oh, they're right here, right in front of me. So you'll want to pin them together. And let's see, we're going to trace our template, which we'll do that in a second. Let's get our other one prepped. So we're gonna do it again. You take your smaller 4.5 by 7-inch, lay it flat with right side facing you, and then your 4.5 by 8-inch, you have two of them, you fold it in half and press it. And again, raw edge, always do the top first. And then again, raw edge, bottom second. And pin. And now you'll want to trace it. Now when tracing it, I have this line. You want to find underneath that line and line it up with, to the best that you can, with that fold. And then you will trace the pattern. Like so. We're going to do it with this one. Now for this one, I am going to use a pen. I've run out of the heat erasing pens, so I'm just using a basic pen. But this will be on the inside, so it'll be fine. You may have noticed I lined up that dotted edge. I did it rather quickly without talking about it. So I lined up this dotted line with what was underneath, my underneath piece of fabric. Now what we need to do is we are simply just going to sew on the line. And I recommend, because these are manipulated, that you shorten your stitch length. I'm going to do a 2 for mine. My machine automatically puts me at a 2.4, so I'm going to make my stitch stitch length shorter, just because these get manipulated for candy and everything. So I'm going to go over to my machine, I'm going to check the chat, and I'm going to sew on these lines. I also suggest that where you go over right here and right here to backstitch, again, the stress that is put on when putting candy or money or whatever you want to put in these just would help to make them last longer. So I'll be right back. There we go. I wrote a comment. I said hello because I only saw 2 comments, and I'm like, I know there's got to be more comments. There we go. All right. Let me stitch these up real quick. I saw one asking about Easter. Yeah, we still have a month, but you know what? You can get a bunch of these sewed up. Give them to everybody. All right, so I've got them sewn. Now I'm going to cut them out. You can use, I'm just going to use regular scissors. You can use pinking shears. So you're going to cut and leave a little border. And I'm just going to cut right down into here, and we're going to come back and take care of these tight corners in a minute. Okay, so we're gonna do this twice. So you've got tight corners right here, here, and here. This one's a really tight corner. In these sections, you're gonna need to cut like a V and then do some other little snips just to help ease the fabric. Okay, if you leave enough space, you can cut a few little V's. But make sure to be very careful and not to cut into your stitches. You're going to be close. Do it on this side. These are these little handy, really sharp tip. They were sharp tip scissors. Come in handy. Now, right here in this V, it's kind of left it big. What I like to do is I leave a big space and then I cut a straight line down and go as far down as I can. And then I cut the tiniest little slit there. And slit there without going into my stitches. And then I do like to just add a few snips. Okay, so before we turn that right side out, we're going to do it again on this one. We're going to cut all the way around. And you'll see how quickly these come together. But the fun part is adding the sparkles, which we're going to do shortly. All right, so again, we're gonna snip in each corner of the ears. I keep flicking it back so that my little tiny pieces don't end up on my mat. They end up on my floor, and then I vacuum them up. All right, last part is up here between the ears. And this might take a minute. Like, you know, you might make one and you're like, oh, what I did didn't work. So it took me a few tries to really figure out the best case for me to get it so it pulled the least. It still might pull a little bit. It is a really tight corner. But the goal is to make it lie flat as possible. So, all right, let's reveal these. So to turn them right side out, I suggest you do the bottom first, just as it would look if you were filling it with candy. You do that bottom, and then if you have a turning stick grate, I just use a large plastic knitting needle. It won't poke through, it's very blunt. And once I get the bottom, sometimes I'll give it a press. And let's do this one too. So we're gonna do just the bottom. And press. Now the ears, I try to get as much of it turned out as possible with my finger, and I'm using my pinky. So I'm kind of taking my thumb and my pinky and I'm pressing my pinky up in there. And then the knitting needle or turning stick, just to get the rest of it. And then a good press. And here's the front. So you can see it pulls ever so slightly. That's what you want to look for. It's just slightly. This is such a tight corner. It's almost impossible to get a perfect flat. But honestly, I mean, these are getting filled with candy. They're meant to have some form to them. So, all right, let's do this one. Again, I'm taking my fingers, getting that pinky finger up in there. And pushing those ears up. Give it a good press. And that is how you make the actual little bunny candy holders. But that's not all. So what we're going to do with these ones is there's a few different products we're going to use. These ones are going to be with products that require drying time. So I'm going to show you how to apply them. And then I have ones that I've already let dry, and then I'll show you how to finish them. So first one, let's see, we're going to do the gold. So the gold one, this one we're going to be applying sparkle paste. It is HeatnBond sparkle paste by Jennifer Long for Sew a Story. We are going to be doing the Sunshine. It's a gold. And for this, you can paint it on. You can paint the whole fabric, or you can use a stencil. So what I did is I created a stencil. I used the pattern, and I drew it on a piece of cardstock. And then I used my die cutter, and I cut out these circles. So now I know where they're going to be on here, and I'm going to show you how to apply it. So I'm using a stencil, and with that I'm just using a little card, and I cut it out so that I could get it down into the sparkle paste. I'll show you how that works. I haven't used this color yet. Okay, so I'm going to grab a little bit, goes a long way with this project because we're not covering a whole bunch of surface area. And I'm going to line up my bunny, and I'm going to gently, I like to press it down just on top, just above the place that I'm trying to put the paste, and then I smooth it out, and then I scrape up the stuff around it. And I'm out, so I'm going to get a little bit more. Scrape it. And I'm holding this hand down pretty firmly so that it doesn't move on me. Just a little bit more. Okay. Oh, and then the reveal. There it is. Now you'll want to, if you're using like not recyclables, I mean, this is paper, it's going to draw in here, but if you want to reuse this, the best thing to do is to get this cleaned off pretty quickly so you can reuse it. I'm not as concerned about it tonight because it's not anything I'm too attached to. So the reason we can't finish this tonight is you have to let it dry for an hour at least. But once it's dry, then you have to heat set it. So I have one I already made, and I did it earlier, and it needs heat setting. So I just used, with this one, I used the sparkle paste that was green. Sprout is the name of this one. And I'm going to share with you how to heat set it. So this one I'm going to set off so it can dry. Now for this, you will need some pressing paper. Got some right here. And for this, you want it on, I believe it's high heat. But we're gonna turn it to medium just to be safe. I can't remember. For these, because the packaging is so small, all the instructions are on their website and it tells you. I do know that we hold it on there for 30 to 40 seconds. So I've already got my heat prepared, and I'm just going to heat set it. Once you heat set it, you have to let it cure for 24 hours. That's important if you're doing this on, let's say, clothing and you want to wear it or you're going to wash it. It has to cure for 24 hours so to make it permanent. And then after that, you can wash it on a delicate cycle and it will stay. Okay. And I'm going to set this aside. And by the time I'm done with this all, I'm going to have some really cute matching sets of these bunnies. All right, so the next item that I'm going to show with you how to use, we're going to do it on the orange one because this one also requires a dry time, is we're going to use, it's called Deco Foil Liquid Adhesive. This can be used on fabric. It can also be used on paper, I think. I don't know. This is fun. So with this, it's like you apply it like a glue, and you want it to have a little bit of, bubble to it. So it's not going to be like painted on. You need to have a little bit of height to it. So for this one, I really like all the dots. So I'm just going to squeeze some dots like this in some of these areas. Now this one can take up to 2 hours to dry. So let's see. We're going to do like a cascade of these. Yeah, we'll do it all over. I think that's better. I'm going to turn it left-handed. I would more than likely hit it with my hand. All right. But we can't do anything with this one now. We got to let it dry. So I already prepared one, and I'm going to show you what to do. So when it dries, you'll see it's kind of still shiny. Don't know if you can see that. There it is. And it's kind of tacky. Now this requires pressure, so I'm going to get out a little bit harder base, my good old really messy cutting board. This will allow me to really put some pressure down. And all you need to do is you'll get a Deco foil. So I'm going to use, I just thought, I really like the greens and blues in this. So we're going to take out a sheet, one sheet of this. Well, these are really big ones. I didn't realize how big these ones were. But they're so pretty. That's good. It gives me more green. You notice my theme here. The ones that I did before, they're blues and purples, and then these ones are greens and yellows. So I'm going to actually cut this down so that I'm only using what I want to use, which is going to be down here. I don't want to actually crinkle that up. All right, so once this dries, and I suggest if you're going to do it within the, as soon as it dries. Personally, I have found that if I let it dry like overnight, it's just not tacky anymore, and the foil doesn't stick as well. So as soon as it's done, within the 1 to 2 hours, maybe 3, do it on there. So all you got to do is you place it over with the pretty side up. You're going to place it over top of the adhesive, and you're going to press really hard. Kind of just gently rub it back and forth. It's the pressure that's going to adhere it to the liquid adhesive. All right, and then I want to do this up close. Once you can kind of see it's there, and then you just peel it up. And mine didn't stick very well. I did do this before I went to my Girl Scout meeting tonight to make sure that it was dry. And that's the case, you just go over it. But that's the nice thing about this is, there we go. I got it all. Look at that. All right, we're gonna do the other areas. I want some gold in this area, a little gold and orange. So I'm gonna really press hard. And then we're gonna reveal. Oh, it's so pretty. I do not think the camera is doing it justice. I'll show you it's this one. This is the one we're doing. You can see on this one, the contrast is a lot better than I did on this one. This one's a little more subtle. There you go. Yeah. Oh, I got one more up here. Wonderful. And you can keep using this. As you can see, you can kind of see what it's used. But keep this if you have any other small projects, you can definitely use it. Okay. So that is bunny number 2. So here, I'll leave him up here. We've got bunny number 1. And bunny number 2. All right. Bunny number 3. We'll do this one. This one's super simple. Now, this is a bunny I would not suggest with little ones. It is a glue, but with probably enough force, and we know little ones can do that. They could probably pull the button off, but it's on there pretty good. But I suggest this is not one for the little ones. I am going to be doing that one on this bunny. I have a few bunnies already made. This bunny, I was going to use an adhesive to get this button on. And what that adhesive is, it's real fun. It is called PeelnStick Fabric Fuse. It is a permanent adhesive. It's going to stick that button right on. And this is a sheet. It comes in a sheet like this, but it also comes in a roll, depending on your needs. So for this, because I want to cut a specific shape, I'm going to be using the sheet. And I'm simply going to be cutting a square that is just slightly smaller than my button. And I think I'm going to do it on this side. So you'll just need to peel. It's got 2 sides. It's got this little paper. You can kind of see it on there. We're going to put it on the back of the button. And then peel off the other paper. Kind of see the shininess of it on there. And simply place it on your fabric and press it on to apply. Easy peasy. And that is bunny number 3. We are going to do this one first because then we want to let it cool while we do our bunny number 5. So bunny number 4, we are going to be using Deco foil again, but we're going to use a different application method. We're going to use what's called hot melt adhesive. This is great. You can put it through a die cutter or you can cut it out yourself. This one's nice. It's got paper on the back, so I'm going to show you. I'm going to draw my stencil. It comes in sheets, and it actually even comes with, it requires a pressing paper. It comes with the pressing paper already, which is really handy. So what we're going to do is, I like this heart shape, so I'm going to continue with the heart shape. And it will be on this lovely one. We're going to do it on this little guy. I'm going to trace the shape that I want to cut out. But like I said, you can also use this on a die cutter. And I have used it before. I can't really pinpoint you to exactly which projects, but I think I did it with a snowflake. All right, so I'm going to cut this out. Get my iron ready. Now this requires medium heat. I'm already on medium heat. Now I did try cutting this, and I'll just give you a heads up, my trials and errors. I want you to be, you know, not have to do what I did. So I fold it. You know how you fold a heart? You fold it in half and you cut it out. I tried doing that with the hot melt. I do not advise it. It sticks to itself. So trace it on the back. Okay. Now with this adhesive, you'll have a textured side, that's the glue, and then the paper side. You will want to place the textured side down onto your fabric, and it does say to use this with, even though it's got the paper, the instructions say use this, so we're going to use it. Okay, we're going to let it press. For 30 seconds. And like always, I didn't really start counting in my head, so we're just gonna think about what 30 seconds feels like. Okay. And for this, you want it to cool down all the way. So we will get back to this one, but we want it to cool down before we do the next step. So while we are waiting for that step, we're going to do bunny number 5. This one is super sparkly. You can kind of see it with this lighting I have in here. I can't wait for it to be light at this time of night. Right now it's pitch black, and so I have a ring light. That's what's providing this nice harsh lighting. All right, so for this one, I have a board. I'm gonna actually kind of move my iron. I have like a foam board. I want to protect this surface, so we're gonna put the foam board down. Now you may want to do this in a different, outside, whatever you feel is best for you. I'm just going to use this foam board, and I'll use this one. Now, because the colors I'm doing are greens and golds, I'm going to use the glitter dust, and it's a gold, and it'll add shimmer to paper, floor, or fabric. I'm going to give it a good shake. I shook it up beforehand, but we're giving it a good shake now. And then we're just going to do some little bursts. You can do both front and back. For tonight, I'm just going to do the front. You can already start to see, at least from my end, yeah, you can start to see it. You see it more once it dries. So I'm going to do just a little bit more. And that's it. That's as simple as it can get. All right, let's take this down. So bunny number 5. And let me feel this one. It's still a little warm, so I want that to cool down completely. So we're gonna still need this. So while I let that cool down completely, I give it another 30 seconds to a minute. I'm gonna get my Deco foil ready, because I believe it's a big sheet, just like the other one. So I'm gonna cut it down. I want gold. It's March, so we gotta go with the green and gold, even though this is for Easter. So, super long, but super pretty. Oh, it's already got a small one, but the small one won't work, because for this one, it has to be bigger than what you are working on. So it needs to be slightly larger. And that will work. And if you go to ThermOWeb's website and just type in Deco foil, you will be shown lots and lots of colors, every color you can think of. And if you don't know what colors to get, they have these packs. They're called Harmony packs, and they've got like 4 different colors of the same similar hue. So you're looking for like, oh, I kind of want to do greens, but I don't know. I want to do a bunch of different greens. They've got you covered. Let me see if I got one to show while that cools down. So like the Harmony color ones, if you're like, oh, I want all these different colors, but I don't need, you know, a bunch of sheets of each one, you can get similar hues and 4 different colors of it within one pack. And it's really good for this. That's the one I used there. All right, I think, oh, we're almost there. I want to make sure it transfers just right. Okay. All right, so what we need to do now is we need to peel the paper backing off. And it will reveal, you'll see the shiny adhesive. And bring our iron back over. Again, medium heat. We are going to place the Deco foil with the pretty side facing up and make sure it covers the entire space. And we're going to heat set this for 30 to 40 seconds. And for this one, I am going to start counting in my head. Make sure that I do it just right. And then, of course, this also will need to cool completely before we peel it back. So while I let this cool completely, I'm going to go over and check the chat. But I haven't put this on yet because I want to count. So. I'm up to 30. Got 10 more seconds. Okay. So we're going to let it sit. And I'm going to put what each of these are. In case you need to see it. So cute. Okay. I'm going to come check the chat. Let this, I'm going to move it because it's warm right there, but it's not over here, so maybe it'll cool it faster. Oh, I like the idea of personalizing it with like an initial. That's clever. I like that. Drop something. I honestly also, while that, I thought about what if I enlarged it and added some interfacing. I haven't done it. I think I'm going to try it. I'll post it here on the craft room page of enlarging it and adding interfacing, and then you can fit like a stuffed animal in it. So it's like an animal and then a stuffed animal inside. I don't know if it'll work, but I'm going to try it. And then if it works, then I'll put out information of what the how to enlarge it. And I want to say shout out to Mary Ann Mushaven because that's my mom. Gotta shout out. Gotta say hi. Oh. All right, I'm gonna check it. I'm gonna check to see if it's cooled, and then we'll do the fun peel. That is very satisfying. All right, it's there. Here goes. Best part. And it just peels off. So pretty. So sparkly. And that's it. We've got bunnies number 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. And as you can see, we made 2 of them pretty quickly. If you just I made 5 of them, getting these prepared really quickly. If you've got lots of little ones, or even big ones, these would be nice little tokens to make. So yeah, they color coordinate. And that's the reason why the 2 that I made that aren't done tonight don't color coordinate. Maybe I'll add 3 more to those ones. They're more of the sunny colors. So we got our greens and our blues. So I'm going to leave the live open for a minute. I believe Dawn will be drawing a name for the gift card, and I'll be right over for that. And of course, I'm going to put the ones we made right here in the center, but this one is definitely, see, it's still wet. It's white. It'll be kind of a clear once it's done. And then this is dry to the touch, but you still want to give it a good hour. Might be a lag. Oh, there we go. All right, I have to keep kind of scrolling up and down. Our winner is Anna Marie Filat. Congratulations. Go ahead and email Dawn she has it right there in the chat. I'll leave it open for another couple minutes if there's any questions. I'm going to kind of scroll through the comments to see if there's any questions that need answering. And if you are wanting to watch this again, of course, you can watch it here on the Facebook page, but I will be uploading it to ThermOWeb's YouTube channel, and you can see it there as well for instructions again. And I mean, what I showed you tonight is just the tip of the iceberg of what you can do to these. You could add anything. You could add lace. I saw someone said some quilt. They're going to incorporate into something that would be really cute into your quilt projects. Sky's the limit on these decorations. All right, I'm going to close this out here in the next about 30 seconds. I want to thank everyone for joining me tonight. I really appreciate it. My next live will probably be 1 month from now on Wednesday evening. So keep checking back on the Facebook page, or if you get the newsletter, that's great. But yeah, thank you again for all coming out tonight, and have a great night.